what are the key things that you're looking for when you're building the brand? Might be different from I mean, it is different for everybody.
Absolutely.
But how are you looking at this?
Um, I think it all starts with getting to know the artist authentic because it has to be authentic to who
Yes.
they are. I don't believe that it is the role of a manager, a label, a publicist, or anyone to tell an artist who to be.
Yes.
I think it is our job to find out who they are and figure out how we can collectively package and present them authentically to the world. So I think it starts with like that, getting a real sense of like who this artist is and what they feel like their place is in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel what a huge part of what's lacking in music right now is like real purpose in what people are doing. I think a lot of artists with social media and all these, it's a popularity thing.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not like deep rooted in any real purpose.
Right.
Like I believe that God, the creator, whatever you call that higher power, sent certain individuals here to use music as a vehicle for messaging. And a lot of people don't have any real sense of why they're doing music. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm talented and I'm good at it. So I want to be popular. I want to make money. I want to get girls. I want to get the cars. But it can't be just about that. Those things come as a result
Yeah.
of you living in your purpose. But I think it's really important um, to align with artists that have a real intentional purpose for being in this thing.
And you've
So,
done that your entire career.
yeah,
You're able to
that
identify
matters
that.
to me
Yeah.
big
How
time.
often does somebody come to you that you think is incredibly talented, but you're like, no, you don't have it?
There's so much talent. I say
Yeah.
it all the time to people. I'm glad to be, again, thank you for having me on this platform because,
Thank you for doing this.
yeah, I
Because
feel
you
a
don't do
little,
this.
no, I don't. This is my first time doing
This is great. Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
I feel a
I
little
just love
bit
how transparent you are.
yeah, I mean, I don't know any other way to be.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm also careful how much I, say because I don't ever want it to be misinterpreted. I feel like some people may see the things that I post on my Insta story and I can come off as like, you're so bitter. Like, it sounds like you hate the music industry. I'm like, there's a lot of it that I don't like.
Yeah.
Just I've had a lot of experience in different facets, but I do think that the popularity thing, it should be a byproduct of you being great. Because also people are not working hard enough to be, and that's the other thing. People think Lucky just came out of nowhere. He'd been honing his craft for 20 years,
Yeah.
honestly, to be as good as he is.
For sure.
And it's funny, I had another artist at the time that I was managing, I won't name, but as a manager, when you have multiple artists on your roster, because at a point in time, I probably had like 15 people on my roster, producers, songwriters, and artists. And I'm like, audio push and tone stits, and I'm like trying to juggle it all independently. It's not like I'm not a part of a management company with a bunch of people helping me do all of
How
this.
many people you got with you working with you?
So it was really just me and Paris
You and
at the
Paris?
time. And Paris, big shout out to Paris Cole. If you don't know her, you need to know Paris because she is a legend. She had Lucky, she was his creative director and stylist and co-managing Lucky with myself and Sam Waters, but she also had Ari Lennox at the same time during the Shea Butter Baby
Oh, shit.
era,
Crazy.
where Lucky and Ari were the two
Yeah.
R&B new king and queen.
Yes.
So she's like juggling the two of them, but yeah, I'm like, I still have D Mile and like his whole thing is picking up, and I have Camper and I have like this whole squad of talent. But I had another artist who was kind of like seeing what was going on with Lucky and felt like he should be getting some of the same looks that Lucky was getting. And it's like, and he's incredibly talented as well, but Lucky was just ready.
Right.
He had worked and prepared himself for this moment. So when it was go time, he was able to just go. And it's like, I think it's very, it's never a good idea for artists to be, you shouldn't compare yourself to any other artist because everyone's journey is just so different. And just because you feel that you are as talented as someone else, a lot of things are, it's just timing. there's a lot of luck. People don't consider how much luck plays a part in the success and
Oh, yeah.
when the success happens and
Oh,
how
yeah.
it happens. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes the stars just align.
Absolutely.
And that's what happened with
And when
Lucky.
you compare yourself, like you robbing yourself for the joy of your own experience as well too.
100%. Yeah. But the Lucky thing, yeah, first album, 4 times Grammy nominated. We hit the ground running. I knew very early on, like his strength was in live performance. I feel like there's a lot of artists in the game who are great studio artists, but when it's time to really get out there and sing live, you can't.
Very few in this day and age. Yeah, very few.
So I got a lot of pushback because from the beginning, I'm like, even if it's two pieces, he needs to go out with live. The music that D-Mile created with Lucky deserves a real live experience with live music. And obviously when you're going out with a band, you know, out the gate, the cost just
skyrocket.
And it's like, I know, but we need to invest. And even as a manager, where it's like, you look at what it costs to go out on the road, and it's like, we could cut back and send him out to track and maybe make some money that we can commission off of. But I was just so invested in building his touring business because I knew how good he was live that I'm like, we'll take the L for now.
Okay.
Let's do it this way.
Does Lucky know that is he having these conversations? Is he, okay. I don't know. I'm asking. You know, or is he just like
the truth?
Okay.
A lot of artists don't want to be in those conversations.
Yeah.
They want to focus on the creative side of things, the music, the songs themselves. They are looking to the people like us to advocate for them and make sure that we are packaging and putting this whole thing together in a way that puts them on their best foot.
Right.
And
that shit costs money.
Yeah, it does cost. Yeah. And, you know, the artists are not going to push the label for the tour support. And like, that's really on us.
That's massive.
Yeah. So first tour, he went out with Ella May. This is another thing that I don't think enough people understand about the role of a manager. So Paris and I, and again, she has Ari and Lucky at the same time, and Lucky's on the road. We budget for a tour manager. Tour manager is out on the road with him. 2 days in, he's like, I need y'all out here. I feel like they're trying to sabotage me. Something's up with my sound. I don't know what's going on, but he just was really uncomfortable without us being there because he knows like we are going to go hard to make sure that all his shit is tight. And the label's not paying for managers. Once the budget is set, it's like the tour manager's out. The manager doesn't need to go. So if you're going, it's coming out of we were paying for our own travel, our own hotels. Yep. I'm thinking we'll just go for a couple of shows to make sure that he's comfortable and then come back home. Because I don't feel like managers need to necessarily be on the road with their artists.
I don't think so. I don't think I think you go to the major markets.
You go to major markets and do all of the
And you maybe go to the first 2 or 3 shows. Yes. I had the same. It took 4 years for Jessie to, and I remember having this conversation with her in 2020 because she was not comfortable with us not being on the road with her. And then it got because it's Byron Wilson and myself managing her. And the compromise was, okay, both of you don't have to be here, but
one of you has to be here. Yes.
Yeah, and that was the compromise for like a long time. And then in 2020, we're like, just the major markets, because my job is not effective on the road.
No, it's not.
And I'm also taking up a bunk on the bed, like it could be used for a crew member
100%.
or a band member.
Yes.
It's not effective.
I agree.
You be traveling and you don't, I don't have reception on
I
something.
know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I gotta get on phone calls.
Yeah, road life is not ideal.
I remember being on tour in Europe.
Yeah.
We were on tour with Party Next Door.
Yeah.
This is his last tour before the one he just went on.
Yeah.
And I'm on a phone call with another manager.
Yeah.
At like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because that was the time that was the call that had to happen because it's 10 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a deal. I'm like, I'm not trying to be awake at 3 in the morning.
I know. Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And this was like, and I was on that whole tour. But it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
But they don't feel comfortable.
No, they don't.
Because, and I do get it.
Yes.
I get it a little. I get it because I think a tour manager as well, more times than not, tour managers are just trying to get the job done.
Yes.
A lot of tour managers don't understand the nuances of an artist.
Correct.
And they kind of just like shrug their shoulders or whatever, like, like they're being difficult. But it's like, nah, I mean, the artist wants something specific. Yeah. And the artists want to fight that with the TM because, like, who are you really? I just met you. Right. So it's like,
and to be fair, tour managers have a lot on their plate.
They got a lot on their plate. Yeah, they do.
Especially when you're traveling with a party, you know, the music, like, you're responsible for so much. So
that's true.
Sometimes the artist is looking for, like, that special attention that the tour manager doesn't have the capacity to give them.
Yeah, especially if it's them by themselves.
Yeah. But I took a lot of pride. I love the road. You know, there's a part of me that's like waking up in a new city every day, and there's something that's really, really rewarding in a way that you don't really get to feel unless you're there, when you are in a room surrounded by strangers singing these songs that you helped put into the world. Like, I don't think there's any other feeling that compares to that real life experience of watching people love the songs that you had sitting on your computer for 2 years before anyone ever heard. And it's like, I wasn't wrong.
You're right.
I wasn't wrong.
Right.
Y'all were wrong. Y'all didn't see it.
Did you ever have the experience when you were on the road and there was a record that the fans just absolutely loved?
Yes.
And then you're like, no, we got to turn this into a single.
Is there a tequila? I'm on a sober thing right now, but if there was tequila, like, can I take a shot to that?
You got some?
It is so frustrating when you are trying to communicate this to the label, because they're like, oh, the numbers are not, the streaming numbers. And I'm like, listen, this song right here, at every show, this is a fan favorite. We need to put something, we don't have to spend a ton of money on a music video, but we need to momentize this song. I personally still feel like Painted deserved so many more moments that never happened, because label's like, okay, it's time to move on. Next album. And it's like, we haven't even maxed out on this.
Did you say momentize?
Yes.
I've never heard that term before.
Yeah, it's a good word.
That's fire.
Yeah, momentize.
I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So they move on.
Yeah. It's like, you know, they decide. The management role is it can be so challenging, because no one knows what's happening as intricately as you do. I'm like, the fans are in my DMs. Good managers.
Not like yourself.
Good managers. Yes. Yeah, I am like in it for real.
1000%.
So you might want to listen to what we are advising we do here, because we're in it in a way that you're not. 2 years, but that tequila as well. I
got into crazy fights because of
Yeah. And so even the way that the budgets are spent and how we spend the money and what we do, it's like, you know, we don't control the pocketbook.
I remember, I won't say who. Yeah. But I remember telling someone at the label, I said, it's kind of when I was like fed up. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you think about, and this is something that all managers who are coming into the business should know, but the label is thinking about the artist for maybe an hour or two out of the week in their meeting. Yes. You as the manager are thinking about your artist 24/7. Yeah. So how are you telling me what to do with the artist when you're not on the road? You're not thinking about the strategy at all times.
You actually don't know the artist.
You don't know the artist. Yeah, outside of me bringing the artist to the label every once in a while. And yet, granted, they will have their thoughts about how they do things, and sometimes they're right. Yeah. But a lot of times they're not. Yeah. And also, I really can't blame it either, because product managers got like 10,
too many artists.
20 artists. Yes. You know what I mean? Like at a time. Yeah. And nobody's off anymore. Everybody's kind of, you know, going at like there is no off season or I don't even remember what the term is called, but off cycle. Off cycle. Everybody's on cycle now because of social media. Yep. But yeah, like I just remember just getting into it and being like, I'm so in the weeds of everything. Yes. You know? Yeah. Listen. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. We're the engine. Yeah. And I don't think people respect
that position enough because, you know, the artist is entrusting us with their career, and we are literally the buffer between them and everyone else. So a lot of times we're the ones that are in communication with the artists, and we know what it is that their ultimate goal is. So we are trying to drive the train a certain direction, and then the people with the pocketbook have a different vision, or they're comparing. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, yeah, but Lucky's not Bryson. Lucky's not Khalid. He's like his own thing.
Yeah.
I remember very early on saying to some people at the label, like, I know he's a Black artist, but we should treat this like we would treat a Bruno Mars. This is before we ever knew that we were going to have anything to do with Bruno. I'm like, if you're listening to the kind of music that he's making, I think we have to look at it through that kind of lens. He could be a pop artist if we do this the right way. Because Bruno's an R&B artist with pop numbers.
Yeah, with pop numbers.
Yeah. And I saw that same. I'm like, why can't a Black artist have that? Only thing that makes him a
pop artist is because of the numbers.
100%.
He's an R&B artist.
He's an R&B artist. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to box Lucky into any of these other things just because he's Black. I think that he has the potential to be as great and as popular as someone like a Bruno is.
Yeah.